Get your black ass off this street before I make you. Female cop Rachel Dawson slaps the black man across the face. On live television. Downtown protest. 3 news cameras rolling. Live broadcast to 200,000 viewers watching a police accountability demonstration. The slap echoes through the air. Then she spits on him. He stands there in his suit. Never moved. Never threatened her. Just a bystander. She signals backup. 2 officers rush in. Force his arms back. Metal cuffs bite his wrists. "Assault on an officer," Dawson announces to the cameras. "You all saw it." Complete lie. The man stays silent. Too calm for someone being arrested on national TV. Like he's waiting for something. She has no idea who she just handcuffed. No idea what's coming. But when she finds out, her face will drain. Her hands will shake. Her world will collapse. Because the cameras captured everything, and some truths cannot be erased. 45 minutes earlier, a black man in a suit parks his car 3 blocks from the downtown protest. Mid-50s. Gray at the temples. The kind of presence that commands respect without demanding it. Oliver Taylor pulls out his phone and dials. "Grandpa, are you really going?" A boy's voice. Young, worried. "I am, Nathan. This is for your civics project, remember?" Oliver checks his watch. "Police accountability reform. You need to understand how democracy works in action." "But Mom said it might get dangerous." "That's exactly why I'm documenting it. So you can see the truth with your own eyes, not just what they show on the news." Oliver ends the call and steps out. Adjusts his tie. Reaches for his wallet. He flips it open. Inside, next to his driver's license, sits a plastic card with an official seal. United States Supreme Court. Justice Oliver A. Taylor. The credential catches the afternoon light. The highest court in the land. One of 9 people who interpret the Constitution for 330 million Americans. He runs his thumb over the seal, then closes the wallet and slides it into his jacket pocket. Nobody at the protest needs to know. That's not the point of today. The point is seeing how the system operates when nobody important is watching. When there's no title to invoke, no position to hide behind, no power to command deference, just a citizen, exercising his First Amendment rights, like anyone else. Oliver walks toward the growing crowd. Signs wave, chants rise, news vans line the street. This protest has national attention. Police accountability, use of force, the issues that have dominated headlines for years, issues that Oliver has spent 30 years addressing in courtrooms. He pulls out his phone, starts recording. The police line forms across the street, officers in riot gear, batons ready, the tension thick enough to taste. 3 news vans have camera crews positioned. Oliver recognizes the network logos. CNN, local NBC affiliate. National coverage for what the city hopes stays peaceful. He notices the police behavior immediately. The aggressive postures, the shoving, the intimidation tactics that cross the line from crowd control into provocation. Perfect for Nathan's civics project. Real-world civics, not the textbook version. A young officer on the edge of the police line checks his body cam, taps it twice, makes sure the battery indicator glows green. Oliver notices, but doesn't think much of it. Good. At least someone's documenting from the other side. The officer's name tag reads, Anderson. Oliver keeps filming. The crowd swells. More protesters arrive. More tension builds. The police line tightens in response. Near the center of that line stands Officer Rachel Dawson, hand resting on her baton, eyes scanning the crowd with barely concealed hostility. She spots Oliver, sees his phone raised, sees him recording police behavior. Her jaw clenches. Her hand tightens on the baton. The news cameras are live, broadcasting to hundreds of thousands, capturing the protest, the police, the rising tension. All the cameras rolling, one phone recording, everyone documenting what comes next. Oliver has no idea his next 60 seconds will break the internet. Officer Dawson has no idea who she's about to confront. The truth is about to collide with power, and the cameras won't look away. Officer Rachel Dawson cuts through the protest line and walks straight toward Oliver. Her hand stays on her baton, her eyes locked on his phone. "Delete that footage," she says. Not a request, a command. "Now!" Oliver lowers the phone but doesn't turn off the camera. He keeps his voice calm and measured. "Ma'am, I have a constitutional right to film police officers in public spaces. First Amendment. I don't care about your amendment." Dawson steps closer, invading his space. "Delete it or I'll confiscate that phone as evidence." "Evidence of what?" Oliver doesn't move, doesn't raise his voice. "I'm standing on a public sidewalk, observing a public demonstration, recording public officials." Behind Dawson, one of the news crews has turned their camera toward the exchange. The red light glows. Live broadcast. Tom Bradley, the news anchor, notices the confrontation. He signals his cameraman. "Get this. Police-citizen interaction. This is our story now." Dawson doesn't realize she's on camera yet. She's too focused on Oliver, on the phone in his hand, on the fact that he's not obeying her. "I need to see your identification," she says, changing tactics. Oliver reaches for his wallet slowly. He could pull out the Supreme Court ID right now. End this entire confrontation with 3 words. "I'm Justice Taylor." But he doesn't. He hands her his driver's license instead. The regular one. The one that doesn't carry the weight of the highest court in the land. Dawson takes it, walks back to her patrol car, runs the license through the system. Oliver waits. Patient. The phone still recording in his hand, pointed at the ground now, but the audio still running. The news camera zooms in on his face. Bradley watches the monitor in the van. Something about this man's composure strikes him as unusual. Most people get nervous when police demand ID. This man looks like he's waiting for a bus. Dawson returns. The license comes back clean. No warrants, no criminal history, nothing she can use. She's visibly frustrated now. "You some kind of lawyer?" she asks, handing back the license. "I know my rights," Oliver says. Doesn't answer the question directly. "Am I free to go?" "Not until I say you are." Officer Tyler Anderson is watching from 20 feet away. His body cam is recording everything. The audio is crystal clear. He shifts his weight from foot to foot. Something about this feels wrong to him. The citizen isn't doing anything illegal, he's just standing there, filming. That's not a crime. But Anderson is a rookie, 8 months on the force. He knows the unwritten rules. You don't question senior officers in the field. You don't break the blue wall. So he watches and records and says nothing. Oliver requests Dawson's badge number. She refuses. Turns her body so her nameplate isn't visible to his phone. "You're interfering with police operations," she says, inventing a reason. "I'm standing 15 feet from your police line. I haven't spoken to any protesters. I haven't interfered with anything." The crowd is watching now. Other protesters have phones out, recording the confrontation. The news crew is definitely on them. Bradley's voice comes through their earpieces back at the van. "Stay on this. This is good TV." Captain Bill Morrison's voice crackles over Dawson's radio. He's watching from the mobile command post 2 blocks away. He can see the news coverage on his monitor. "Dawson, what's your status?" She keys her mic. "Dealing with an agitator. Refusing to comply. We need a crowd deterrent. Make something stick." The order is subtle enough, coded language that sounds professional on the radio but carries a clear meaning. Find a reason. Create an arrest. Show the protesters that resistance has consequences. Dawson looks at Oliver. at his phone, at his calm, patient expression. She's been a cop for 12 years. She's made hundreds of arrests. She knows how to create probable cause when she needs it, how to manufacture a reason that will hold up in her report. Oliver sees the shift in her eyes, the decision being made. He's seen that look before, in courtrooms, in depositions, in the eyes of people who've convinced themselves that the end justifies the means. He keeps recording. Dawson's hand moves to her belt. Not the cuffs, the baton.
Last chance, she says.
Delete the footage and walk away, or we can do this the hard way. I'm not deleting anything, Oliver says calmly, and I'm not walking away. This is a public space and I have every right to be here. Anderson watches. His finger hovers near his body cam. He could turn it off. That's what some of the senior officers do when things get questionable. No footage means no evidence, no accountability. But he doesn't press the button. The camera keeps rolling. Morrison's voice comes over the radio again. I don't care how, Dawson. Just make it happen. We need control of this situation. The news crew catches that moment. The instant Dawson's face hardens, the decision solidifying. Bradley leans forward in the news van. Something's about to happen. Keep rolling. Don't miss this. Oliver stands perfectly still, his phone recording at his side, his breathing steady, his eyes on Dawson. He could end this. 3 words. I'm Justice Taylor. And flash the Supreme Court credentials. Watch her face change. Watch the entire dynamic shift. But he doesn't. Because this is the lesson Nathan needs to learn. This is what happens when the system thinks you're nobody. When you don't have power or protection or a title that commands respect. This is how it treats people who can't fight back. So Oliver waits. And records. And lets Officer Rachel Dawson reveal exactly who she is. The crowd goes quiet. Everyone feels what's coming. 3 cameras watching, 1 phone recording, all of them about to capture something that will change everything. Dawson's hand closes around her baton. The news feed goes out to 200,000 people. And Oliver Taylor, Supreme Court Justice, civil rights champion, legal scholar, stands on a public sidewalk and waits for injustice to reveal itself. Officer Rachel Dawson's hand flies across Oliver Taylor's face. The slap cracks through the air. 3 news cameras capture it from different angles. Live television. 200,000 viewers. Oliver staggers. His phone drops and hits the pavement. The screen cracks, but the red recording light stays on. Audio still running. The crowd gasps. Someone screams. Dawson moves fast. She grabs Oliver's arm and spins him around. You're under arrest for assaulting a police officer. Everyone saw it. Oliver says nothing. Doesn't resist. Doesn't fight back. Just lets her force his arms behind his back while she radios for backup. Officer assaulted, suspect in custody, she announces over the radio. Clear, confident. The first narrative always carries weight. Anderson's body cam captures everything. The slap, the arrest, the radio call. Every second stamped with metadata that proves the timeline. His hands shake slightly as he keys his own mic. Confirming arrest. I have visual. But his visual shows something different than Dawson's radio call suggested. His camera shows a peaceful man standing still. Then sudden violence. Then an arrest based on a lie. Anderson knows what he saw. The question is whether he'll say anything. 2 more officers arrive. They take Oliver's arms and walk him toward a patrol car. He doesn't resist, doesn't speak. His face is calm despite the red mark blooming across his cheek. Tom Bradley watches the monitor in the news van. His producer leans over his shoulder. Tom, we need to address this. Our footage shows she hit him first. We already aired the arrest announcement, Bradley says, hesitating. If we contradict that now, it makes us look incompetent. If we don't correct it, we're complicit in a lie. Bradley waves her off. We'll review the footage later. For now, stick to the basic facts. Arrest made. Situation under control. The news coverage continues, but the narrative is already set. Protester arrested after altercation with police. The slap gets edited out of the initial reports. Too controversial. Too unclear. Better to wait for official statements. Meanwhile, Oliver sits in the back of a patrol car, handcuffs cutting into his wrists, face throbbing, phone confiscated and bagged as evidence. They never checked what's on that phone, never looked at the video, never realized it recorded the entire confrontation from his perspective, including the audio of Morrison's radio order to make something stick. The patrol car drives to the precinct. Oliver watches the city pass by through the window. He's been in police custody before, decades ago. Civil rights marches in the 1980s, back when he was a young attorney fighting for change. But this is different. This time, he has the power to end it with a single phone call. He chooses not to. Not yet. At the precinct, they process him. Fingerprints. Mugshot. The photographer doesn't recognize him. Why would he? Oliver is wearing casual clothes. No judicial robe, no official context. Just another black man in the system. The booking officer runs through standard questions. Name, address, occupation. Attorney, Oliver says. Not a lie. Also not the full truth. You want to call your lawyer? I'll make my one phone call when I'm ready. They put him in a holding cell. The door slams. The echo lingers in the concrete space. Oliver sits on the metal bench. It's not comfortable. Not meant to be. The system isn't designed for comfort. It's designed for compliance. He closes his eyes, not praying, not worried, just thinking, calculating, waiting for the exact right moment. Outside the cell, officers move through their shifts. Paperwork, radio chatter, coffee breaks. Nobody thinks twice about the black man in holding cell 3. Just another arrest. Just another day. Dawson fills out her report. The narrative is clean. She felt threatened. The suspect refused to comply. When she attempted to secure the scene, he became aggressive. She defended herself. Textbook procedure. The report doesn't mention the slap. In her version, Oliver swung first. She merely responded with necessary force. Morrison reads the report and approves it. Good work, clear documentation, no issues. Anderson sits in the locker room and stares at his body cam. The footage is automatically uploaded to the server, encrypted, backed up. But he knows the system. Files can disappear. Footage can get corrupted. Evidence can vanish when it's inconvenient. He makes a decision, pulls out his phone, connects to the body cam via Bluetooth, starts a secondary download to his personal encrypted email. Insurance. His partner walks in. What are you doing? Nothing, Anderson says, closing the connection. Just checking battery levels. The partner doesn't push it. Everyone has their quirks. Oliver Taylor sits in his cell and waits. The mark on his face is darkening into a bruise. His wrists ache from the handcuffs. His phone is in an evidence bag somewhere, still containing the video that proves everything. He could make the call now. Could activate what his clerk calls Protocol 7, the emergency response system for when a Supreme Court justice needs immediate assistance. But he waits. Because every minute he stays silent is another minute the system reveals its true nature, and that's a lesson worth documenting. Officer Tyler Anderson sits in the precinct locker room with his laptop open. The body cam footage plays on the screen. He watches it for the third time. The slap is clear. Unmistakable. Dawson's hand connecting with the man's face. The man never moved toward her, never raised his hands, just stood there holding a phone. Anderson rewinds, plays it again, listens to the audio with headphones this time. Morrison's voice over the radio. Make something stick. Dawson's response. Copy that. Then 30 seconds later, the slap. Anderson's partner, Officer Rodriguez walks in, sees the footage on the screen. "What are you doing?" "Reviewing the arrest," Anderson says carefully. Rodriguez glances at the screen, sees the slap. His expression doesn't change. Dawson's arrest, her report, her problem. The footage shows she hit him first. The footage shows what it shows. The report says what it says. Rodriguez closes his locker. "You've been on the force 8 months, Anderson. You want to make it to 9? You learn when to see things and when to look the other way." "That's not what we're supposed to do." "That's exactly what we're supposed to do. It's called loyalty. It's called having your partner's back." Rodriguez leans against the lockers. "You file a report contradicting Dawson, you know what happens? Internal affairs investigation. Everyone gets dragged through it. Your career is over before it starts. And for what? Some guy at a protest who probably deserved it anyway?" Anderson doesn't respond, just closes the laptop. Rodriguez leaves. Anderson sits alone with his thoughts. 3 blocks away in the WKRN news van, producer Emily Carter reviews the raw footage from the protest. All 3 camera angles, frame by frame. She finds it at timestamp 14:38:22. Camera 2. Clear shot of Dawson's hand making contact with the man's face. Then the arrest. Emily calls Tom Bradley over. "You need to see this." Bradley watches the footage. His jaw tightens. "Our initial report said the protester assaulted the officer," Emily says. "But our own footage shows the officer hit him first. The police report says he was aggressive." "Tom, we have it on camera. She slapped him, then arrested him for assaulting her. That's not just wrong reporting. That's us being complicit in a false arrest." Bradley stares at the monitor. His career is built on credibility, on being first with the story, but also on being right. "We air a correction. It makes us look incompetent," he says. "We don't air a correction. We lose all credibility when the truth comes out. And it will come out." Bradley hesitates. The news cycle is already moving on. Other stories, other protests. This arrest is already fading into background noise. "Pull all the raw footage," he finally says. "Archive it. We'll review it properly before making any statements." It's not a correction. It's not justice. But it's something. Meanwhile, on social media, the arrest is already going viral. Citizen phone videos from the protest are flooding Twitter. Different angles, different perspectives, all showing the same moment. The slap, the arrest, the lie. Hashtag Justice for Black Man is trending. 10,000 tweets, 20,000, 50,000. But nobody has identified Oliver Taylor yet. The videos show a black man in a suit being arrested. That's all anyone knows. News outlets pick up the hashtag, share the videos. The view count climbs. 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. The internet wants to know who he is. Captain Morrison watches the social media explosion from his office. His phone rings constantly. The mayor's office, the police union, the city attorney, everyone wants to know the same thing. Is this going to be a problem? Morrison summons Dawson to his office. She walks in confident, justified. She did her job, made an arrest, followed procedure. "The video is spreading," Morrison says, turning his monitor toward her. Dawson watches herself slap the man, watches the arrest. The footage is damning. "Social media is calling for your badge," Morrison continues. "He was interfering with police operations. I followed protocol." "The optics are bad, Rachel. The optics are always bad when we do our jobs. This will blow over. It always does." Morrison wants to believe her. His department's statistics depend on officers like Dawson. High arrest rates, strong enforcement, the numbers that make his precinct look effective. "Keep your head down," he says. "Stick to your story. I'll handle the media." Dawson leaves his office, walks past the holding cells. Doesn't look at cell 3. Doesn't think about the man inside. She's made dozens of arrests like this. Hundreds, probably. She's good at her job, good at reading situations, good at maintaining control. This is no different. She heads to the break room, pours coffee, scrolls through her phone. A colleague walks past. "Hey, you see you're trending on Twitter?" Dawson looks up. "What?" "That arrest from the protest. Videos everywhere." Dawson opens Twitter, sees the hashtag, sees the views climbing, sees comments calling her a racist, a liar, a corrupt cop. She closes the app, sets down her phone. "It's just social media," she says out loud, to herself, to anyone listening. It doesn't mean anything, but her hand shakes slightly when she lifts her coffee cup. In his holding cell, Oliver Taylor sits on the metal bench. He can hear officers moving through the precinct, radio chatter, doors opening and closing, the normal rhythm of law enforcement. The booking officer walks past his cell, stops, looks at Oliver. "You seem awfully calm for someone facing felony charges." Oliver meets his eyes. "I've been in worse situations." "You got a lawyer coming?" "Eventually." The officer shrugs and moves on. Another inmate, another case, nothing special. Anderson makes his decision in the locker room. He opens his laptop again, connects to the body cam server, finds his footage from the protest, downloads it, then sends an encrypted copy to his personal email. Timestamps intact, audio clear, everything documented. His partner's words echo in his head. "You learn when to see things and when to look the other way." But Anderson became a cop to see things, to document them, to hold people accountable, even when those people wear the same uniform he does. His phone buzzes. A text from his girlfriend. "Saw you in the protest video, you okay?" He types back, "I'm fine, just doing my job." But he's not fine. He's documenting evidence that could end careers, including his own. Outside the precinct, the sun sets. The protest has dispersed. The news vans have moved on to other stories. The streets are quiet again. But online, the video spreads. The view count passes 1 million, then 2 million. People are watching. People are angry. People are demanding answers. But they still don't know who the man in the cell is. They don't know what Dawson really did. Not yet. Oliver checks the time on the cell wall clock. 6 hours since the arrest. 6 hours of letting the system reveal itself. He decides to wait a little longer. The lesson isn't complete yet. The video hits 5 million views in 4 hours. Fastest trending protest video in months. #whois. He climbs alongside Justice for Black Man. The internet loves a mystery. Everyone wants to identify the calm man in the suit who stayed silent while being arrested. Officer Rachel Dawson sits in the precinct break room, scrolling through Twitter on her phone, smirking at some of the pro-cop comments defending her. The thin blue line crowd always has her back. A colleague walks in, Officer Martinez from night shift. "Hey, did anyone get that guy's full name from booking?" Dawson shrugs. "Some lawyer type. Taylor, I think." "Oliver Taylor?" "Yeah. Why?" Martinez doesn't answer, just pulls out his own phone and starts typing. Dawson goes back to scrolling. The video has her face in it now. Clear shots. People are identifying her, posting her name, finding her social media accounts. She makes a mental note to set everything to private later. The booking sheet sits on the clipboard next to the coffee maker. Dawson picks it up, reads the name again. Oliver Taylor, attorney, 58 years old. She pulls out her phone, opens Google, types casually, "Oliver Taylor, black man arrested." Google autofill suggests, "Oliver Taylor, Supreme Court Justice." Her finger hovers over the screen. She clicks. The search results load. Official Supreme Court website. His portrait, in judicial robes. The seal of the highest court in the United States behind him. Oliver Anthony Taylor. Appointed to the Supreme Court 2 years ago. Unanimous Senate confirmation. 30-year career in civil rights law. Federal judge for 12 years before his appointment. author of landmark ruling Taylor versus Metro Police Department, established new precedent on police accountability, eliminated qualified immunity for officers in cases of filmed misconduct. Dawson's coffee cup slips from her hand. It hits the floor, shatters. Hot coffee spreads across the tile. Her face drains completely white. Her mouth opens, but no sound comes out. Martinez looks over her shoulder at her phone screen. His eyes go wide. "Oh my God," Dawson whispers. "Oh my God. Oh my God." Her hands shake. She tries to close the browser, drops her phone. It clatters on the floor next to the broken coffee cup. She reads the screen again, hoping she misread, hoping it's a different Oliver Taylor, hoping this is some kind of mistake. But the photo matches. Same face, same calm expression, same man she slapped on live television, a Supreme Court justice. She slapped a Supreme Court justice, on camera, in front of millions of people. Martinez backs away slowly. "I didn't see anything. I wasn't here." He leaves the break room. Dawson stands alone, surrounded by broken ceramic and spilled coffee. Her breathing goes shallow, rapid, panic attack incoming. She grabs the edge of the counter to steady herself. Captain Morrison walks past the break room, sees her pale face, the mess on the floor. "Dawson, you okay?" She can't answer, can't form words. Morrison frowns and keeps walking. Officers get stressed. It happens. Dawson stares at her phone on the floor, the Supreme Court seal visible on the cracked screen. Outside Oliver Taylor's cell, an officer's radio crackles. "All units be advised. Federal agents en route to precinct, ETA 20 minutes. Dawson hears it from the break room. Her knees buckle. She sits down on the floor in the spilled coffee and broken ceramic, and realizes her entire life just ended. The black SUVs pull into the precinct parking lot at exactly 8:48 p.m. Federal plates. Department of Justice seals on the doors. 4 agents step out. Dark suits, federal badges. The kind of presence that makes local cops nervous. They walk through the precinct entrance. The lead agent approaches the front desk. "We need to speak with Captain Morrison. Now." The desk sergeant picks up the phone. 2 minutes later, Morrison appears, confused, irritated at the interruption. "Can I help you?" The lead agent shows his credentials. "Special Agent Reeves, Department of Justice. We're here regarding the Oliver Taylor arrest." Morrison's confusion deepens. "That's a local matter. Simple assault. Why is DOJ involved?" "Because you arrested Supreme Court Justice Oliver Taylor." Morrison's coffee cup hits the floor. Second ceramic casualty of the evening. His face goes white. "What?" "Supreme Court Justice Oliver Taylor. You have him in custody. We need access to all footage and evidence. Immediately." Morrison's mind races. Supreme Court. Federal jurisdiction. His career flashing before his eyes. There must be some mistake. "No mistake, Captain. Where is Justice Taylor being held?" Morrison leads them to the holding cells. His hands shake as he unlocks the door to cell 3. Oliver Taylor sits calmly on the metal bench. He looks up as the cell opens, sees the federal agents, shows no surprise. "Justice Taylor," Agent Reeves says with unmistakable deference. "Are you injured? Do you require medical attention?" "I'm fine," Oliver says quietly. His face still shows the bruise from the slap. "Thank you for coming. We received an anonymous tip about a civil rights violation. When we identified the victim, we mobilized immediately." Morrison stands in the doorway, his brain trying to process what's happening. He arrested a Supreme Court justice. His officer slapped a Supreme Court justice on live television. "I need Officer Dawson and all recordings from the arrest," Reeves says to Morrison. "Body cam footage, surveillance, everything." "Of course. Right away." Morrison's voice barely works. They bring Dawson to interview room 2. She walks in already broken, already knowing this is over. The agents don't waste time. They play Anderson's body cam footage on a laptop. The audio is crystal clear. Morrison's radio order, make something stick. Dawson's response, copy that. Then the slap, the false arrest, the lie broadcast to millions. Your report states Justice Taylor became aggressive, Reeves says. The footage shows him standing still. Dawson stares at the screen. No defense, no explanation. Just watching her career die in high definition. Your report states he assaulted you. The footage shows you assaulted him. Her breathing gets shallow. She looks at the table. Can't meet the agent's eyes. Morrison tries to intervene from outside the room, demands his union rep. Demands to know the charges. You're under investigation for obstruction of justice, Captain. Your order to make something stick is on tape. You directed an officer to manufacture probable cause. Morrison's face crumbles. I was trying to maintain order. You were trying to violate someone's civil rights, and it happened to be a Supreme Court justice. In another room, Anderson voluntarily submits his encrypted backup footage. The agents grant him immediate whistleblower protection. His career is safe. More than safe. He'll be held up as an example of integrity. Tom Bradley's news station receives a call from DOJ. They request all raw footage from the protest. Bradley complies immediately. Sends everything. No more hesitation about corrections. The story breaks on CNN within the hour, not from Bradley's station. They were too slow, too cautious. Breaking news. Supreme Court Justice assaulted and arrested by police at peaceful protest. The chyron runs across every news channel in America. Dawson watches it on the interview room TV, sees her own face, her own actions, broadcast to the nation. The agents continue their questions. She has no answers, no defense, just silence. Agent Reeves closes his laptop. Officer Dawson, you're being placed on administrative leave pending federal charges. Assault, false arrest, deprivation of rights under color of law. She nods. Can't speak. Captain Morrison, same for you. Obstruction. Conspiracy. Abuse of authority. Oliver Taylor is escorted from his cell. Not in handcuffs this time, treated with the respect his position demands. He passes Dawson in the hallway, makes brief eye contact. She wants to say something. Apologize. Explain. Beg for mercy. But what words could possibly matter now? Oliver says nothing, just continues walking. Calm as ever. The door opens. He steps out into the night. Still a Supreme Court justice. Still possessing all the power he had this morning. The power he never mentioned, never used. Not until the system had fully revealed itself. Oliver Taylor steps out of the precinct into a wall of camera flashes. The media circus has multiplied. 20 news crews, hundreds of protesters who came back after hearing the news. Everyone wants a statement. Everyone wants answers. Justice Taylor, will you press charges? Justice Taylor, what message does this send? Justice Taylor, do you believe this was racially motivated? Oliver raises his hand. The crowd quiets. Justice will run its course, he says simply, through proper channels, through the system. That's all he gives them. Then he walks toward his car. Officer Tyler Anderson stands near the precinct entrance. Off duty now, changed into civilian clothes. He watches Oliver navigate through the crowd. Their eyes meet. Oliver changes direction, walks over to Anderson. Officer Anderson, Oliver says quietly. Sir. Anderson straightens, nervous. This is a Supreme Court justice addressing him directly. I watched your body cam footage. You documented everything, accurately, completely. even when it would have been easier to look away. I just did what was right. That's rarer than you think. Oliver extends his hand. Thank you for your integrity. They shake hands, a firm grip. Two men who understand what honor costs. I'm sorry this happened to you, Anderson says. Don't be sorry. You gave me exactly what I needed. The truth. On record. That's all justice ever requires. Oliver releases his hand and continues toward his car. Anderson watches him go. Feels something shift inside his chest. Pride, maybe, or purpose. Or the knowledge that he made the right choice even when it was hard. Oliver reaches his car, sits in the driver's seat. Finally alone. He pulls out his phone. 89 missed calls. Messages flooding his voicemail. One from Nathan. Grandpa, you're everywhere. Mom is freaking out. Are you okay? Call me. Oliver smiles. Small. Brief. Not satisfaction. Just recognition of what he knew would happen. He plays the viral video on his phone. Watches himself get slapped. Watches the arrest. Sees it from the outside perspective for the first time. 5 million views when he was released an hour ago. Now it's at 8 million. The number keeps climbing. He closes the video, starts his car. Before he pulls out, his phone rings. Caller ID shows Chief Justice of the United States. Oliver answers. Good evening, Chief. Oliver, the entire court is prepared to support you, whatever you need. I appreciate that, but I think the evidence will speak for itself. He ends the call and drives home through the city streets. The same streets where he was arrested 6 hours ago. The same streets where the system tried to treat him like he was nobody. But he wasn't nobody. And now everyone knows it. CNN breaks the story at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Breaking news tonight. Police officer slaps and arrests Supreme Court justice at peaceful protest. We have video. The screen splits. Left side, the slap video. Right side, Oliver Taylor's official Supreme Court portrait. The contrast is devastating. Same face, same calm expression. One showing him in a suit being assaulted. The other showing him in judicial robes representing the highest court in the land. Twitter explodes. The hashtag SCOTUS slapped trends worldwide in 17 minutes. 8 million views becomes 15 million. Then 25 million, then 40 million. Every news network runs the story. Every social media platform floods with reactions. Every corner of the internet discovers what Rachel Dawson did. Officer Rachel Dawson sees it in the precinct break room. The coffee she spilled earlier has been cleaned up, but she's still there, sitting on a chair, staring at the TV. Her face appears next to his portrait. Split screen. Her mid-slap. Him in judicial robes. The caption, Officer who assaulted Supreme Court Justice identified. Her phone buzzes. Text messages flooding in. Voicemails piling up. Her personal social media accounts already found and flooded with thousands of comments. Captain Morrison's phone hasn't stopped ringing. The mayor, the governor, the police union, the city attorney, the police commissioner. Everyone asking the same question. How did this happen? Morrison has no answer. Just sits in his office with the blinds closed and watches his career disintegrate in real time. Tom Bradley's network finally airs their correction. Full screen. Anchor looking directly at camera. Earlier today, we reported that a protester assaulted a police officer. That report was inaccurate. Our own footage, which we failed to properly review, shows Officer Rachel Dawson striking the civilian first. That civilian has now been identified as Supreme Court Justice Oliver Taylor. We deeply regret our failure to report accurately. We failed our viewers and we failed Justice Taylor. The mea culpa is devastating. Bradley's credibility damaged. The network's reputation tarnished. But it's the right thing to do. Late, but right. The Department of Justice releases an official statement at 11 o'clock p.m. It comes with evidence. 3 television broadcast angles synchronized, side by side by side, all showing the same moment from different perspectives. Dawson approaches Oliver. He's standing still, phone at his side, not threatening, not aggressive, just standing. Her hand rises, connects with his face, the slap visible from all three angles simultaneously. Then the arrest. The lie. "You assaulted me." Everyone saw it. The synchronized footage proves she lied, proves he never moved, proves the entire narrative was manufactured. Officer Anderson's body cam footage is released next. Enhanced audio. Crystal clear. Morrison's voice. "Make something stick. We need crowd deterrent." Dawson's response. "Copy that." 30 seconds later, the slap. The audio proves premeditation, proves the arrest was ordered, proves the system conspired to violate Oliver Taylor's rights. Forensic analysis follows, frame-by-frame breakdown. Oliver's position never changed. His feet stayed planted, his hands stayed at his sides, his body language showed zero aggression. Geolocation data from his phone confirms it. GPS coordinates prove he was stationary. Accelerometer data proves he never moved toward Dawson. The evidence is overwhelming, mathematical, irrefutable. Oliver's phone video gets released. The audio is devastating. Dawson's voice before the slap. "These people need to learn respect." The racism captured in her own words. Broadcast to millions. The technical team presents the full timeline. Oliver's phone began recording at 3:42 p.m. Continuous recording for 18 minutes. The entire confrontation documented from his perspective. Timestamp 3:48:15 p.m. Dawson demands he delete footage. Timestamp 3:48:58 p.m. Oliver cites First Amendment. Timestamp 3:52:22 p.m. Morrison's radio order to make something stick. Timestamp 3:52:55 p.m. The slap occurs. 0.3 seconds after Oliver finished citing his constitutional rights. The timestamps prove sequence, prove causation, prove the assault happened immediately after he asserted his rights. Radio traffic logs are released publicly. Every transmission from Morrison preserved. Every order documented. The conspiracy laid bare in official police communications. Make something stick. I don't care how. We need control of this situation. Each order time-stamped, each response logged. The digital paper trail destroying any claim of innocence. Dawson's personnel file leaks, not from official sources. Someone inside the department sends it to reporters. 3 prior excessive force complaints, all filed by people of color, all dismissed by Captain Morrison without serious investigation. A pattern of behavior, a history of abuse, all protected by a system that valued statistics over accountability. Social media analysis reveals 43 citizen videos from different angles, all uploaded independently, all showing the same story, all corroborating the official evidence. The crowd was watching. The crowd was recording. The crowd captured everything. Dawson can't claim the footage is edited, can't claim it's taken out of context. 43 different phones, 43 different perspectives, all proving the same truth. One of those videos captures her Google search. A citizen journalist was in the break room, filmed through the doorway, caught the moment Dawson's face drained white, caught her coffee cup falling, caught her whispered, "Oh my God." That footage goes viral too. The moment she realized becomes its own hashtag. 10 million views. The exact moment Officer Rachel Dawson discovered she slapped a Supreme Court justice. The Department of Justice releases Oliver Taylor's full background. Supreme Court Justice, appointed 2 years ago by unanimous Senate confirmation vote. 98-0. Unprecedented bipartisan support. Before that, federal judge for the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. 12 years. Impeccable record. 0 complaints. 0 overturned rulings for misconduct. Before that, civil rights attorney for 18 years. Argued 6 cases before the Supreme Court. Won 5. Author of landmark ruling, Taylor v. Metro Police Department. decided 6 months ago, established new precedent on police accountability, eliminated qualified immunity for officers caught on camera committing misconduct. The irony lands like a bomb. Officer Rachel Dawson violated the exact legal precedent that Justice Oliver Taylor authored. Legal experts flood cable news to explain it. He literally wrote the law that will be used to prosecute her. This ruling removed the shield that typically protects officers from civil liability. Justice Taylor created the legal framework that ensures accountability in exactly this type of situation. The poetic justice is almost unbelievable. His 30-year career gets detailed across every platform. The son of a factory worker and a teacher. Scholarship to Howard University. Top of his class at Yale Law School. Clerk for Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. Built his career defending people who couldn't defend themselves. His landmark cases scroll across screens. Voting rights, housing discrimination, criminal justice reform, police accountability, a lifetime dedicated to the principle that justice should be equal, that the law should protect everyone, that rights don't depend on who you are. And then he proved it. By staying silent, by letting the system treat him like anyone else, by documenting exactly what happens when power thinks no one is watching. The final piece of evidence released. Oliver was filming for his grandson's civics project, a 7th grader's homework assignment. Document how democracy works in action. The lesson got delivered beyond anyone's expectations. Nathan's reaction video goes viral. 12 years old, tearful, proud. My grandpa could have told them who he was. He could have stopped it. But he wanted to show me what really happens, what courage really means, what standing up for what's right really costs. 20 million people watch a child understand justice in real time. Dawson's lawyer makes a statement, asks for mercy, asks for understanding, asks the court to consider her years of service. The irony is crushing. Asking for mercy from the man she humiliated, from the Supreme Court justice she assaulted, from the legal system she betrayed. Morrison reaches for his badge. His hand shakes. He places it on his desk. 28 years of service. Gone. The question trending on Twitter isn't if charges will be filed. It's how many. Assault, false arrest, civil rights violations, conspiracy, obstruction. The evidence is complete. 3 layers deep. Visual, digital, documentary. All proving the same truth that was obvious 6 hours ago. Officer Rachel Dawson slapped Supreme Court Justice Oliver Taylor on live television, then arrested him for a crime he didn't commit, while millions watched. The view counter spins past 50 million. Global news coverage. Every continent. Every language. The video that will never die. The evidence that can't be erased. The moment that changed everything. Federal charges are filed 72 hours after the arrest. United States v. Rachel Dawson. 5 counts. Assault under color of law. False arrest. Deprivation of civil rights. Conspiracy to violate civil rights. Filing false police reports. Each count carries 5 to 10 years. The prosecution asks for consecutive sentences. United States v. William Morrison. 3 counts. Obstruction of justice. Conspiracy to violate civil rights. Abuse of authority. His career ends before the arraignment. Pension suspended. Badge and weapon permanently surrendered. Officer Tyler Anderson gets promoted. Assigned to the newly formed Internal Affairs Reform Unit. His whistleblower testimony becomes training material for police academies nationwide. This is what integrity looks like, the training video says, showing Anderson's body cam footage. This is what it means to honor your oath. The precinct gets placed under federal consent decree, full departmental reform mandated, new training protocols, new accountability measures, federal oversight for 5 years minimum. Tom Bradley resigns from WKRN. The network's delayed correction cost them credibility. Bradley takes responsibility, steps down. A journalist committed to accuracy takes his place. The original protest that started everything? The cause gets renewed attention. The police accountability bill that was stalled in city council for 8 months passes unanimously 3 weeks later. Oliver Taylor's arrest becomes the catalyst. The proof that reform isn't just needed, it's essential. 7 days after his release, Justice Oliver Taylor gives his first public statement. He stands on the Supreme Court steps, cameras everywhere, the entire nation watching. "I don't come here today calling for revenge," he begins. His voice is steady, measured, the same calm he maintained in handcuffs. "I come calling for accountability, for reform, for a system that protects everyone equally." He doesn't attack Dawson personally, doesn't call for blood, doesn't feed the anger that wants punishment over process. "What happened to me happens to thousands of Americans every year. The difference is, I have a title that got attention. I have resources that ensure justice. But justice shouldn't depend on who you are. It should be the same for everyone." He announces his support for a new case under Supreme Court review. Body cam mandate nationwide. Mandatory recording of all police encounters. Federal oversight of local departments with patterns of misconduct. "Technology gave us truth," Oliver says. "Cameras documented what happened. Without that evidence, this would have been my word against Officer Dawson's. And we know whose word the system typically believes." The speech gets 40 million views, gets quoted in classrooms, gets referenced in congressional hearings. Oliver Taylor transforms his own victimization into systemic change. 2 weeks later, Oliver visits Tyler Anderson privately, Anderson's small apartment on the East Side. Evening. Quiet. They sit in Anderson's living room, two men from different worlds connected by one moment of integrity. "I wanted to thank you personally," Oliver says. "You chose conscience over comfort. That's not easy in any profession. It's especially hard in yours." "I just did what was right," Anderson says. "Why didn't you just tell them who you were?" Anderson asks, the question that's been bothering him. "You could have ended it immediately." Oliver is quiet for a moment. Then, "Because justice shouldn't depend on who you are. It should be the same for everyone. If I can be treated this way with all my education and titles and resources, imagine what happens to people who don't have those protections." Anderson nods slowly. Understanding. "You gave me the truth," Oliver continues. "That's all justice ever needs. Evidence, integrity, people willing to do the right thing even when it costs them." They talk for another hour. About the system. About reform. About what real policing should look like. When Oliver leaves, Anderson feels something he hasn't felt in months. Hope. That the system can work. That good people can make a difference. Oliver returns to the Supreme Court the next day, back to his chambers, back to his case files, back to the work of interpreting law. A colleague stops by, Justice Patricia Mendez, appointed same year as Oliver. "Are you okay?" she asks. "Really okay?" Oliver nods. "The system worked, not because of me. Because people like Officer Anderson chose integrity. Because cameras captured truth. Because the process, imperfect as it is, eventually delivered justice. You could have avoided all of it." That wasn't the point. The point was documenting what happens when the system thinks no one important is watching. Because everyone should be treated like they're important. 3 months later, Nathan presents his civics project at school. "The day my grandpa taught me about real justice." The presentation includes the video, the arrest, the evidence, the outcome, the reform. But it ends with one sentence that Oliver told him after everything was over. "Justice isn't about power. It's about principle." The teacher gives him an A+, sends the video to the local news. It goes viral in education circles. Teachers use it in classrooms across the country. Oliver watches the video on his phone one evening, Hears Nathan's voice explaining what happened, explaining what it means. He thinks about Officer Dawson. She took a plea deal, avoided trial, 3 years federal prison, civil rights training as part of probation. Her career over forever. He doesn't feel satisfaction, just sadness. Another person who could have chosen differently, could have seen him as human first, could have followed the law she swore to uphold. Morrison lost his pension, his reputation. His legacy turned from 30 years of service to one radio transmission. Make something stick. Anderson thrives, gets featured in recruitment campaigns. Be the officer who does the right thing. His story inspires a new generation. The viral video becomes evidence in 12 other civil rights cases. Other victims using the precedent, using the evidence standard, using the framework that Oliver's case established. One arrest, one video, one moment of injustice documented and corrected, proving that justice recorded cannot be erased, that the law protects everyone equally, that even those who enforce it must answer to it. 3 months after his arrest, Officer Riley from another precinct stops a protester filming police activity. The protester holds up his phone, ready for confrontation. Officer Riley nods, smiles. "Thank you for keeping us accountable," she says. The camera stays on. The exchange gets posted online, goes viral for different reasons this time. An officer welcoming oversight, welcoming transparency. The caption, "This is what change looks like." Oliver sees it, shares it with Nathan. That, he tells the boy, is why the lesson mattered. Justice isn't about revenge. It's not about power. It's about truth, evidence. People brave enough to defend both, and a system that, when forced to confront its failures, can actually change.